Rob Gronkowski, four-time Super Bowl champ and contributor to Fox NFL Sunday. He is the ambassador for the T-Mobile Friday Night 5G Lights, and it's a competition, high school football, nationwide celebration of hometown pride. T-Mobile is all involved. Gronk will talk to us about that. Good to see you, Rob. What was the goal of veterans when you went to training camp?
Oh, the goal of veterans is to show the younger players the way, be the leader out there out on the football field and get that chemistry going within, the team, within the organization, and go out there and show everyone how it's done out on the football field and try to find ways to get better, because you can make big jumps from your rookie year to your second year. But when you're a vet, you got to find those little tiny details that can, make your game just a little bit better compared to when a rookie is going into his second year. You see big improvement, but you just got to find those ways to stay in the league and be better so you can stick around.
Okay, but tell me what you didn't know your rookie year.
The playbook, I can tell you that. That was number one. Also, understanding defenses. You can go over defenses in meetings and understand what cloud coverage is, what cover two coverage is. But to truly understand a defense, you got to get repetitions out on the football field. You got to be able to go against that type of speed, because it's different from when you're in college. When you get to the NFL, man, it's like everything's going so fast. And I remember that my first time I stepped out on the football field, I was like, how am I going to deal with this? Everything's just racing in my mind. These linebackers are so fast. Usually I'm so much faster than everyone else. So it's about getting the repetitions and the reps and going out there and having the game slow down for you and getting the feel of the defenders out on the football field.
Give me the defender you had to keep your eye out for.
Oh, like I'm on my team, or
no, the opposition?
Just going against another team. Okay. I mean, I always had a battle with myself. That's what I always said. If I was on point and I was feeling my game, I felt like I could go against anyone else at any other time and dominate, But if I wasn't on point, if I wasn't feeling myself, if I wasn't, I would say, activated, and going full go, and I was feeling slow, I felt like I could get covered by any single person in the league. There was one time in training camp, I think it was my 8th year when going into training camp with the New England Patriots, and I was getting covered by undrafted free agents just because I wasn't feeling myself. My body wasn't cooperating with me. So the NFL is a lot more, a battle against yourself on a daily basis. It's hard to be up every single day, especially with the beating that you can take. You want to be activated. You want the muscles firing. And when they're not, I feel like anyone can cover you at any given time. But just opponents wise, I would say in the run blocking game, though, Terrell Suggs was an absolute monster, absolute beast. And it's not because he was just so strong, and scary looking. It's because he brought it every single play, and he had that burst off the ball. And same with Von Miller. That dude was impossible to get your hands on because he was just so quick, and that burst was just so lethal that, he had the advantage there.
What is Travis Kelce battling this year?
Travis Kelce, what is he battling this year? I would say he wants to win football games. That's for sure. He wants to win another championship before he retires. So he wants to get back to the Super Bowl, which is a tough task to do. They've already done it 3 years in a row. Are they going to do it 4 years in a row? They have a chance for sure. I would also say that he wants to go out there. I mean, I don't know, him personally like that, and I can't really speak for him. But after watching, last year in the Super Bowl, I feel like he wants to go out there and prove to everyone that he still has a lot left in the tank, and he can go out there and compete at a high level, which I truly believe he will, or else he wouldn't have came back to play football again this year.
But at that position, how much of it is just understanding body position? He's not going to be running by guys the way he once did. So now it comes down to football IQ of how smart I can be. And I don't know how much that plays or played for you when you played that position later in your career.
Well, that's kind of going back to your first question, Dan, is when you were talking about what does a veteran do going into a training camp? Well, it's finding the little niches to stay around, even though your skills aren't up to par compared to when you were 23, 24 years old. And that happened to me my last couple of years, especially down in Tampa. It was just knowing the niche of the game, knowing the defenses, knowing where to be in zone coverage. Yeah, I wasn't running by anyone, and my stats weren't particularly like they were when I was younger. But guess what? I was still contributing because I was blocking guys, and also I was finding the space in the zone and making the plays when my number was called. Travis Kelce, yeah, he probably won't be making moves like he was back, 4 or 5 years ago, but the guy knows the game of football. He's such a smart football player, and he has that connection and chemistry with Patrick Mahomes as well, and that's what keeps him going. Every once in a while, I'm sure he's going to feel himself and have that boost to get by someone and run by someone. But overall, I would say his smarts of the game of football is what keeps him around and what keeps him at 80 plus catches by just finding the hole and sitting down and just catching it and going up the field for a first down.
Rob Gronkowski, four-time Super Bowl champ, joining us. What Super Bowl ring would you wear to the Hall of Fame when you're inducted?
Yeah, I would definitely wear my first Super Bowl ring to the Hall of Fame when we beat the Seattle Seahawks in Super Bowl 49. It was hands down one of the best Super Bowl games to be played. We were down, we came back. The Seattle Seahawks came back when we got up on them. And then the final drive, obviously, with the Malcolm Butler interception to seal the deal. I contributed. I had a touchdown going into the first half in the 2-minute drill. Amendola had a touchdown. Julian had a touchdown. Our boy Shane Vereen out of the backfield had like 10 catches. So it was an overall great team win. And on top of it, it was one of the best Super Bowls out there. And it got me into the Super Bowl club.
But how surprised were you to be on the sidelines watching Seattle throw that pass as opposed to give it to Marshawn Lynch?
Well, you got to give credit to Dante Hightower, who has the biggest calves in the NFL when he was playing, that they ran a play where they handed it off to beast mode right before that. And Dante Hightower made the tackle one-on-one on beast mode, which is very, very rare. But Dante Hightower is such a beast as well that he was able to bring him down. So that maybe kind of switched up the play call for that final play that they had because he already got tackled on the 2-yard line from Dante Hightower. I mean, to throw the ball as well, we were just prepared. Coach Belichick showed Malcolm Butler that play plenty of times within the weeks following up to the Super Bowl. So we were just a better prepared team. And that's when Coach Belichick's coaching comes into credit, is because he had Malcolm Butler prepared for that play. And that's why Malcolm Butler made that spectacular move to have that interception.
Wait, Dante Hightower has the biggest calves in NFL?
Yes, he has monster calves. Yes. Monster.
Were you jealous of his calves?
Julian sure was. He talked about him every single day.
Did you ever think that we would see this many pictures of Brady with his shirt off in retirement?
No, I would have never thought that. He was always a little bit nervous to even take his shirt off in the locker room. He had more of a dad bod when he was playing, but I feel like he got trimmed up a little bit. He kind of has a 6-pack. All that baby fat and plain fat that he had is totally off him, and he's looking good. I think he changed up his workout resume too, and he's lifting, I think, more weights now, so he looks better. So he can show it off, man. He's looking good right now for 60 years old.
He's not 60, but he's on a yacht every week, it feels like.
I mean, he deserves it. I mean, he put in 25 plus years in the NFL. He deserves to be on a yacht every single day.
I love what you're doing with T-Mobile, the Friday Night 5G Lite. So explain the competition and what's at stake here.
Yes, T-Mobile Friday Night 5G Lights is back, and we're taking it to a whole nother level. And it's its second year with more winners, more prizes, and ultimately more ways to showcase hometown pride and empower communities. And what T-Mobile is doing is that if you're a small town high school, you can enter these stakes to be able to win prizes from T-Mobile. And T-Mobile is giving away to 25 different high schools $25,000. 450 high schools will be receiving $5,000. And if you win the grand prize for Friday night 5G lights, you will win over $1 million in prizes, which is ultimately a brand new high school football stadium, a brand new Gronk Fitness weight room as well. You know, Gronk Fitness, you got to plug my family's product right there, and you got to stay strong and you got to stay fast using our equipment. So if you want more details about it, go to FridayNight5GLights.com to enter. And it's just such a spectacular program that T-Mobile is doing to just help out these high school athletes.
You know, you brought up Dante Hightower with that stop on beast mode, but then Hightower has the sack on Matt Ryan in the Super Bowl as well, right?
Yeah, we call Dante Hightower Dante playoffs, or it was something like that, playoff Dante, because he showed up every single time the playoffs came. If he was in the training room, in the regular season a little bit, it didn't matter. We knew that we could count on Dante Hightower, and he came through in Atlanta versus the Atlanta Falcons in that Super Bowl. Unfortunately, I didn't play in that one. I was having a great year, and then I went up to see him, and Earl Thomas, the absolute missile of a guy that he is. He hit me when I was going up to see him full speed and punctured my lung and broke my back basically in half. So I was out for that Super Bowl. And then obviously he came through in the Super Bowl 49 as well when he stopped beast mode.
I know you got your podcast with Julian Edelman. I still can hear Cam Chancellor hit Edelman when he made the catch, going over the middle. And then he ended up running 7 yards after that. It's one of the hardest hits that I've heard, Gronk. And Edelman said he wasn't concussed. I still think he had a concussion.
Put it this way, that just shows, what type of player Julian Edelman is. It just shows his toughness as well. He got absolutely cremated across the middle by one of the hardest hitting safeties, and not just hardest hitting safeties, one of the biggest safeties and athletic safeties to play the game of football. And he got right up to keep on running. That just shows how trained and how programmed that he is, and how bad that he wants to win, the game of, win the games when he's playing the game of football, especially with the Super Bowl on the line. I think he got concussed as well, but Julian Edelman is an absolute fighter and an absolute dog, and that's why he has 3 Super Bowl rings as well.
Well, he ended up having that catch against Atlanta, the ricochet that was... so we're talking about, Brady and Belichick get all the credit, and, they should get most of it. But you're talking about other players who make these small, Malcolm Butler, like these small little things, Amendola. Like, that's what sometimes I think gets lost with great teams, is having the other people that fill in kind of, the gray area there.
Yeah, definitely. And but we've all gotten plenty of credit, and we're all not looking for more credit because we receive plenty of credit as well. Julian Edelman receives plenty of credit. Amendola. Every time we see each other, we reminisce about our championships and about playing together. But I just want to go back to that catch as well with Julian Edelman with the Atlanta Falcons. And also you saw him get leveled by Cam Chancellor, basically get concussed and keep going. That just shows the determination that Julian Edelman has. You see other guys in playoffs, they don't come through with that catch that they need to keep that drive going in the fourth quarter. I'm not going to bring up any situations, but it happened a couple times last year in the playoffs. But a guy who wants to win, who wants it so bad, and he just digging for it and doesn't want to go back to that locker room losing. That's a guy like Julian Edelman. And when you're determined like that, you're going to make those plays and you're going to make that catch to keep the drive going. And it's because Julian Edelman wanted it more than anyone else. So thank you, Julian, for coming through in those situations.
How many North Carolina football games are you going to go to this year?
It's going to be tough because I'm obviously doing the Fox pregame show this year. So I'll be definitely tuning in, no doubt about that. I'm going to wish Coach Belichick well. I want to see him win because it's just kind of like the Deion Sanders effect a little bit. It just brings college football to the table and makes it that much more interesting. And Coach Belichick also has that effect. So if he's winning, it's going to bring that North Carolina vibe to a whole nother level. And you're going to want to tune in and you're going to want to follow, and it's going to be fun.
Once again, to learn more about the contest, your local high school Friday Night Lights Friday night, 5G Lights. Friday night, 5GLights.com. Gronk, great to talk to you again. Good luck with this.
All right, Dan. Always pleasure, man. Thank you.
Rob Gronkowski. Yeah, I go back to like these small things where you just go, that guy did this. You know, the Edelman catch against Atlanta is one of the greatest catches in Super Bowl history. I mean, it's just like you don't, even when you watch it and then you watch it again, you go, I don't know how he did that. I don't know how it was possible.
He's going, I got it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I got it.
I know.
It's a great moment.
I know. But you get those. He's talking about Vereen getting 10 catches. Nobody talks about a lot of these guys. Certainly New England running backs and the value that you had of them catching passes because that was their running game for a lot of these Super Bowl years. Yes, Marvin.
Also, a guy like James White in the Atlanta Super Bowl was
should have been
big.
the MVP. Should have been the MVP, in my opinion.